Happy Monday. Damn it, over the weekend it's been a problem. It's been weather problems down here in the state of Texas, especially in Dallas, and Luka is wrong because he brought that problem because he's cold. He's cold. And not just offensively. We know he's leading the league in scoring, but damn it, he's getting it done on the other side of the floor. I want you to check out this tape of Luka Doncic sliding those puppies. Now, we know Jay Kidd, he loves to disguise plays. He's running this double pick and roll to get Luka on the ISO with under 7 minutes to go. Look at Luka taking this one-on-one defense personal, stand in front of his man, slide those puppies. They get the stop, now they getting out in transition. Here we go again. We coming right here. He's running the pick and roll, not with a big, but with Luka to try to get the switch and mismatch with his guy Cooper Flag. Luka does a great job of staying in front, contesting and boxing out and getting the boards. Here we are again. They're putting Luka back into action. Luka said not today. Now he's matched up with Doug Christie. This is the isolation they think that they want, but they really don't want this smoke. He gets a great contest, a make you miss contest, not a hope you miss contest, and Luka Doncic went on to do what he do as expected and get another win in Dallas.
All right, so let's bring in David Dennis Jr. Ramona's back. Double D, are you?
Fix your body language.
What'd you say? What'd you say, Perk?
I told him to fix his body. I told him to fix his body language.
I'm not fixing the body language, Perk. I'm not falling for the Luka Doncic defense propaganda right now. Absolutely not. What he does against Dallas, a team that's highly motivated to beat, and you looking at him, he's guarding Brandon Williams, Cooper Flag late in the shot clock, Max Christie. That's one thing. Luka Doncic through the rest of the season has a 41% blow-by rate. People are blowing by him fourth most of anybody else in the league. What are you going to do come playoff time, when that's SGA you're defending, when that's Castle, when that's Jamal Murray, when that's Anthony Edwards that you have to defend out there, and when you have not Marcus Smart on the court with you, when it's Austin Reaves, when it's LeBron James who's getting blown by more than anybody, this defense is not going to save this Lakers team, because I have not seen a serviceable defense by this squad yet by Luka Doncic. How many years are we going to say that this is the year that Luka Doncic is going to step up defensively before we believe that this is just what we're going to get? A few possessions in Dallas is not going to change my mind.
How dare you? How dare you come in with that negative energy after my segment, after I just broke down some tape giving this man credit? We asked this man all offseason to get in shape and put forth the effort. Do we expect this man to go out there and be Lou Dort? No, absolutely not. Do we expect him to be an OG Anunoby? No, but he's leading this team and the league in scoring. All you want is for him to give effort, and that's what we've been seeing. Do I think the Los Angeles Lakers are going to win a championship, or do I think they're legit title contenders? Hell no. But do I think this is a right place, a right start, going in the right direction for seeing your international superstar put forth effort on the defensive side of things? If I'm JJ Redick, hell yeah. So I love the energy. You know what I'm saying, my boy D, but I don't like you coming in on my type of time. This is my time, you know what I mean? And when I'm giving people their flowers, I need you to come in with a bouquet of roses.
So
right?
what you're saying, Perk, is that DDJ is not being a good teammate right here, and that's what I think the Lakers need Luka to be. Just play team defense. They don't need him to be spectacular defensively for 40 minutes. They don't need him to do it every possession. But if he can just be a credible team defender some of the time, not all the time, just some of the time. That's what you got Jared Vanderbilt out there for. That's what you got Rui for. So I'm with you, Perk. If he can just be a team defender some of the time, they're going to be a lot better.
Yeah, apparently, Double D, you're supposed to always agree with Perk.
The entire game, LeBron James, some of the things that he's still doing at his age are unbelievable. And their second best scorer, and the guy that's been great all year long, Austin Reaves, is coming back. Now, none of that figures out their defensive woes and their struggles, but guys like Jared Vanderbilt have been much better lately. Marcus Smart has been really, really good lately. Rui hit some huge shots in Dallas to kind of seal that game Saturday night. And so they're getting more production from their bench. DeAndre Ayton, I think, is still going to be the wild card. When he plays good, they usually win the game, and he's been kind of up and down with just his effort and his motor and his engine. And that to me is concerning because it's never going to be about the other stuff with him. It's just straight effort. And that's all he has to do is play hard to be productive for this team. And it feels like sometimes he's not doing that. So I think this team is fine. I think this team could make some noise and be a tough out against the playoff team just because of how experienced they are and how good they can be offensively. And when they're making shots, they are really, really tough to guard. But this win was fun. It's always fun going to see Luka going back to Dallas and see that crowd's reaction. This was a big kind of bounce back win after smoking one to the Clippers.
About that loss to the Clippers, I'll be curious, Chandler, you first, on what you thought about JJ Redick's quote. Here it is. Guys are concerned about their futures, and that's what happens when you have a team full of free agents and player options. That's like a very honest statement that I don't know that we're supposed to hear. What do you make of that?
I mean, it's true. It's definitely true. When guys are in the free agent year and they know they're going to be a free agent that summer, coming out, you think about it and you feel it, and you're definitely talking about it with your agent, with your friends, with your wife, whoever it is, because you know that's coming, and that does put a little bit of a distraction on you throughout this season. Now, it's not right. It's not fair. You should live in the moment, take it game by game, but it's just natural. It's you're a human being. You are going to worry about your own future and your financial woes. A lot of these guys have been paid a lot of money. A lot of these guys haven't. So I understand what he's saying. It's just something I don't think you should say. Like Rob Pelinka is probably like, what, dude? Like, why would you say that right now when we, like, yeah. So it's just something usually I think we think and not say, but it's true. And there's some truth to it. And a lot of guys, I know I did, when I knew a free agent or I had a player option coming up, I knew I was thinking, okay, I need to do this. I need to do this.
How could you not?
Like, to stay healthy.
And the Lakers made that bid.
I mean,
Lakers made that bid because we know how active they are at trade deadlines. And so when you have a team full of free agents and you're hearing all of this trade talk, it's your natural response to that is to be concerned about how does this affect me in my future? And so when you build a team like this, when you have that type of personality of a group, this is what you deal with, But I also want to say, for when it comes to free agency, nobody gets paid more than a winner. So if those guys can get those concerns and put those to the side and say, hey, look, let's buckle down and let's put a run together and let's win basketball games, everybody will be fine. But when you're a Los Angeles Laker and you know that this is a team that's always looking to make moves and do a deal at the trade deadline, and it's obvious that no one is safe per se when it comes to the Lakers, that's also a natural thing to be concerned about as well. So, JJ Redick just said the uncomfortable thing out loud. That was it.
But also, Lou, think about it on the flip side too. If I'm the Lakers, I want flexibility with guys on expiring contracts to be able to go and get the best free agents. So
he just said the uncomfortable thing out loud. That was it.
As frustrating as it is, as it might be for a coach to have to handle individual agendas throughout a season, Rob Pelinka probably loves the flexibility of having that and going to be able to get the big fish this summer. So it works both ways.
Feels like college. Feels like we're doing college rules in the Lakers land, like the current way we do that, which I don't hate.
I'm actually amazed that they're in fifth place. I'll be honest. I'm amazed that they've been able.
So you think they're worse than? Okay.
Pretty solid, like 10 games above 500.
I think they've been able to withstand, honestly, with everything that's going on, all the noise, all of the back and forth, guys in and out of the lineup, one of your best players out of the lineup, LeBron being out of the lineup, Luka being out of the lineup, to still be in fifth place. I think they've done an amazing job of withstanding everything, especially in the Western Conference.
Think about this.
Yep.
Austin Reaves has been out. LeBron's been out. All this drama surrounding them. They're a bottom 5 defense, and they're 10 games above 500 and 5th in the West. I think they'll take that, and I think they're just fine being right where they are.
I think that's why the question is, what are they? Like,
everybody's been out.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of the Lakers. Like, if somebody said, "What do you think of the Lakers?" I'm like, I'm not sure. I think that's the answer. I'm not sure yet.
The problem is, I think we all know the teams above them are slightly, if not a lot better. So it's like they're fine where they are, but like to think that they can actually go and win a championship and get through OKC, San Antonio, Houston, and Denver, that is where the concern is for me, because I don't see that happening.
Yeah,
No,
we
I
can
think
do
that's
we
fair.
can do the what if game, but can you imagine being 10 games above 500 in the Eastern Conference? Like if the Lakers could go to the Eastern Conference, they would absolutely take that. They would absolutely take the position that they're in right now with that record.
Then maybe we get rid of conferences. Yay, let's start that conversation one more time. I love that conversation. Shams, shout out, on Friday reported that we are currently, right now, in real time, watching the end of the relationship between LeBron and the Lakers. I mean, did you have him retiring as a Laker? I don't think you did, right, Chandler?
Honestly, I haven't really thought about it. I mean, I think me and Boogie both said that we would love to see him kind of go back to Cleveland, where it all started. But like, I don't know. It'd be weird to see him in any other jersey other than something I've already seen him in. I think that's fair to say. So whether it's Cleveland, Miami, or I can't just picture him going to the Suns next year and I can't picture that. And I don't get this feel of like an ending of a relationship. I really don't. Obviously, they've passed the torch to Luka, and when they made that trade, that is his team, and LeBron is on record saying that, and he's okay with that and his words. So this whole Jeannie Buss article, I don't think that really moved the needle either. She's not even involved. She's not even the owner anymore, so I don't think that has as much weight as people thought. So maybe, I mean, I think we're watching the end of LeBron. Like, and as sad as that is, like, he's 41 years old. At some point, he's going to retire. And so I don't know. I don't think this is a LeBron and Lakers situation. I think it's just we have to realize that LeBron James is not going to be around forever. And as good and productive as he is, he's not going to play forever. So I don't think that has anything to do with the Lakers. I think he's just fine there. I think he obviously wants to win and play at the highest level. But like we said, they are where they are this year. This is Luka's team moving forward. But that's normal. He's 41 years old. You're not like you're going to be the franchise built around the guy. So I don't understand where this is coming from. I don't think that Jeannie Buss article was that big of a deal, to be honest with you. And so I don't know. I honestly, I don't know. Like I can see him going to Cleveland maybe, but that's really it.
Did you really start out the answer to this question as I haven't thought of? Like, what do you think about all day, Chandler? Like, what? Talk to me.
Well, I'm
Give me
just saying,
one thing you thought about this morning.
I'm just saying I haven't thought about whether LeBron's going to retire. Like you've thought about that? Do you think you have like a yes or like an answer to that?
I think about LeBron all day, Chandler.
It just feels like the end isn't near still, right? It still feels like it's a lot of basketball to be played with LeBron. And guess what? That relationship is going to be over when he says it's over. He has a no trade clause in his contract, and he's also a free agent at the end of the year. So he has all of the cards to go his direction. And so whether we make a big deal out of that article or not, whether we make a big deal out of them having an opportunity to win championships or not, at the end of the day, it's going to be said and done how LeBron wants it to be done when it comes to LeBron James.
Like, Lou, how many more years does he play?
Probably one more after this one.
So
I think next year is the farewell tour.
So he makes the announcement this offseason so he can get the tour next season. Okay, I buy that.
And we put everything in perspective.
That would make sense to me.
Yeah, I buy that. Take me through. Okay, so if you're Rob Pelinka, obviously he has a no trade clause, but it's trade deadline's coming. And you're Rob Pelinka, you are still making a million calls. And then if you get something that sounds like it might somewhat be pleasing to LeBron, do you then go to him and be like, hey, we have an opportunity to make this trade. Would you be open?
I don't know. I think it's too late in the game to try new things, right? I agree with what Chandler said. If LeBron James is going to move anywhere, it's going to be to a team that we've already seen him play before, whether he has some type of relationships that live there already. Cleveland is obviously one of those relationships where we can see that happen, where he can go off into the sunset with the team that he started with, that he made most of his history with. But it ain't gonna be like a Golden State or one of these other teams where he hasn't done anything for that franchise, and to be going into his last season or two, I don't think it's gonna be a fresh start anywhere. So Rob Pelinka can make all the calls he wants. If it's not somewhere that LeBron James wants to go or that he sees fit, it's not gonna happen anyways. It's gonna go his way.
Yeah, again, I think GM's job is to continue to try and make their team better right now and for the future. And they know LeBron's not a future piece, but he's still damn good. Like, look at those numbers. Those numbers are insane for 25-year-old, let alone a 41-year-old. So at the end of the day, he is still an asset. He's still productive, and he's still LeBron James that can help any team be better and win basketball games. So again, that would be the craziest thing ever. I mean, I don't think any doors are closed, but I can't see that happening.
Chandler, can you imagine his farewell tour as a Golden State Warrior? Like what is
What
this?
a circus. Weird circus that is. Yeah.
Yeah, like what is this?
I
Great
can't.
point, actually.
Here's a question nobody seems to be asking. When did the Lakers become the team that plays down to their competition? Because tonight, January 26th, the Lakers roll into Chicago to face a Bulls team that's 23-22, just 1-4 straight, and is absolutely salivating at the chance to take down LA on their home court. And before you tell me it's just another regular season game, let me stop you right there. This isn't just another game. This is a litmus test. This is the Lakers 10 days from the trade deadline, trying to prove they can handle their business against a team that has no business beating them, and yet somehow feels like exactly the type of team that will. The Bulls just beat the Celtics on a Kevin Huerter game. They've taken down the Clippers, the Timberwolves, and the Nets in their last 4. They're 15-9 at home, and they score 117. 9 points per game because they play at a breakneck pace that forces you to either keep up or get run off the floor. So here's what I want to know. Are the Lakers going to show up tonight like the team that erased a 15-point deficit in 7 minutes against Dallas? Or are we getting the Lakers that gave up a 26-point lead to the Clippers? Because I'll tell you right now, if they think they can coast through Chicago and figure it out in the fourth quarter, they're in for a rude awakening. The Bulls aren't some bottom feeder tanking team. Kobe White and Josh Giddey are both averaging 18.8 points. Nikola Vucevic is putting up 16.8 and 9.1 rebounds. Matas Buzelis has been unconscious over his last 10 games. These guys can score, they play fast, and they smell blood when teams come in. And guess what? The Lakers are the 1.5 point favorites in a game where the betting models predict Bulls 180, Lakers 117. Does that sound like a game you should be confident about? But before we get into tonight, hit that like button because we need to talk about everything that's swirling around this Lakers team right now. And trust me, it's a lot more complicated than just basketball. Let's start with the elephant in the room that everyone's been talking about, but nobody's actually analyzing correctly. After the Dallas game, LeBron James told the media, Luka don't need to bend his game. Luka is our franchise for this ball club. It's up to us to bend our game around him. And immediately, the hot take machine fired up. LeBron's admitting he's washed. The Lakers are forcing him out. This is the end of the LeBron era. Can we please take a breath for a second and actually think about what LeBron said? Because this isn't a white flag. This isn't LeBron. This is LeBron being the smartest player in the room, like he always is. You want to know what LeBron's really saying? He's saying, I've been doing this for 23 years. I've won 4 championships. I've been to 10 finals. And I know exactly how to make this work. LeBron didn't have a problem playing with Dwayne Wade when Wade was the face of Miami. He didn't have a problem playing with Kyrie Irving when Kyrie wanted to be the guy in Cleveland. He averaged 22 points while letting Anthony Davis get his numbers here in LA. LeBron has always been able to coexist with elite talent because he's secure enough in his own greatness that he doesn't need to dominate the ball every possession. And now, at 41 years old, he's doing the same thing with Luka, who is 26 years old and leading the entire NBA in scoring at 33.4 points per game. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. But here's where it gets interesting. And this is what's been bothering me all week. Shams Charania went on the Pat McAfee show and said the end is near for LeBron and the Lakers. He said the Lakers have turned the page, that Luka is the cornerstone now, and that LeBron is going to have to decide whether he wants to retire as a Laker or go chase another ring somewhere else. And you know what? Maybe that's true. LeBron will be a free agent this summer. He's 41 years old, and at some point this incredible run has to end. But can we stop acting like LeBron is being pushed out? Can we stop pretending like he's not still producing at an elite level? The man is averaging 24.8 points, 7.5 rebounds, 7.3 assists, and 1.2 steals over his last 12 games. He scored 11 of his 17 points in the fourth quarter against Dallas to lead that comeback. LeBron James is still a top 15 player in this league, and if he leaves LA this summer, it won't be because the Lakers didn't want him. It'll be because he decided it was time. So when I hear LeBron say this is Luka's team, I don't hear desperation. I hear a guy who's been to the mountaintop multiple times recognizing that the future of this franchise is a 26-year-old superstar who's going to be here for the next decade. That's not surrender. That's leadership. And quite frankly, the Lakers are lucky to have both of them, because there aren't many teams in this league that can say they have the best scorer in basketball and a 41-year-old future. Hall of Famer who's still putting up 22 a night, which brings us back to tonight, because this Bulls game is exactly the type of game that exposes whether all this talk about chemistry and leadership and figuring it out is real or just noise. The Bulls are good, not great, not championship contenders, but good. They're 23-22. They're in the play-in mix in the East, and they've won 4 straight by playing fast, shooting threes 14.6 per game, 7th in the league, and attacking teams that don't defend with urgency. Sound familiar? Because that's literally the Lakers' Achilles heel. They're 23rd in defensive rating. They're the worst three-point shooting team in basketball. And they have a tendency to sleepwalk through the first half against teams they think they should beat. Look at what just happened against Dallas. The Lakers came out strong, built a 13-point halftime lead, and then completely fell apart in the third quarter. The Mavericks went on a run, took a 12-point lead early in the fourth, and suddenly the Lakers were scrambling. They only won that game because Luka went nuclear. LeBron took over down the stretch, and Rui Hachimura hit 3 massive three-pointers in the fourth quarter. That's a win, sure, but it's also a pattern. The Lakers keep digging themselves into holes and then having to crawl out. Against the Clippers, they dug a 26-point hole and never recovered. Against Dallas, they dug a 15-point hole and barely escaped. Tonight against Chicago, they're going to dig another hole if they come out flat. And I'm not convinced they'll be able to climb out of it. Here's what scares me about this game. The Bulls are peaking at the right time. They just took down the Celtics at home in a game that came down to the final possession. Kevin Huerter hit a three-pointer with seconds left to win it. That's the kind of confidence-building win that carries over. And now they get the Lakers, a team that's missing. Austin Reaves might be without Jake LaRavia, questionable with a quad injury, and is playing their 3rd game in 5 nights on the road. The Bulls are going to come out with energy, they're going to push the pace, and they're going to force the Lakers to defend in transition. If DeAndre Ayton is starting at center and trying to keep up with Kobe White in transition, it's going to be a long night. If the Lakers give up 15 threes to Chicago, it's going to be a long night. And if Luka and LeBron have to bail them out again in the fourth quarter, even if they win, that's still a problem. But here's the flip side. The Lakers are 14-2 in clutch games this season. They're 5-0 in games decided by 3 points or fewer. They have Luka Doncic, who's averaging 33.4 points per game and is the best closer in basketball. They have LeBron James, who just proved against Dallas that he can still take over a fourth quarter when it matters. And they just figured out that their small ball lineup with LeBron, Luka, Marcus Smart, Jake LaRavia, and Rui Hachimura is deadly, scoring 34 points in 10 minutes with a plus 17 rating against the Mavericks. So if the Lakers execute, if they defend with urgency, and if they don't spot Chicago a double-digit lead in the first half, they should win this game comfortably. But should and will are 2 very different things, and that's what makes tonight so important. Now let's talk about something that should have the Lakers front office working the phones 24/7, but somehow isn't. Jonathan Kuminga just gave the Lakers a golden opportunity, and they're sleeping on it. Kuminga requested a trade from Golden State on January 15th. He sat out 16 straight games despite being healthy because Steve Kerr wouldn't play him. His relationship with the Warriors is fractured beyond repair, according to reports. Then Jimmy Butler tears his ACL, Kuminga gets thrown back into the rotation, and in his first game back, he drops 20 points in 21 minutes against Toronto. 2 days later, he scores 10 points in 9 minutes against Dallas before leaving with a knee injury. The diagnosis: bone bruise, hyperextended knee, out indefinitely. Here's the question. Why aren't the Lakers all over this? Kuminga is 23 years old. He's 6'7", 225 pounds. He's athletic. He can defend multiple positions, and he's averaging 12.1 points and 5.9 rebounds in extremely limited action this season. Yes, his trade value is down right now because of the injury and the lack of playing time. Yes, there's risk involved. But you know what? That's exactly when you make a move. When a young, talented player becomes available because his current team doesn't want him and his value is artificially low, that's called buying low. That's called being opportunistic. And the Lakers, who have been desperate for a versatile defensive wing all season long, should be jumping on this. The Warriors don't want to take back long-term money. They're trying to stay flexible for next season. GM Mike Dunleavy said there's no real market for Kuminga right now. Does that sound like a team with leverage to you? The Lakers could offer Rui Hachimura, Jard Vanderbilt, and a future first-round pick, and that gets it done. The salaries work. The Warriors get off Kuminga's contract, pick up a solid rotation player in Rui, get some defensive depth with Vanderbilt, and get a pick for their trouble. The Lakers get a 23-year-old wing with all-star upside who's desperate to prove himself in a new situation. Yeah, he's hurt right now, but it's a bone bruise, not an ACL tear. He'll be back in 3 weeks. And yeah, there's baggage with the Steve Kerr situation, but that's a Golden State problem. You don't think Kuminga would be motivated to show the Warriors they made a mistake by trading him? Thinking this through, Kuminga in LA makes so much sense. It's almost insulting that the Lakers haven't made it happen yet. He's young enough to fit the Luka timeline. He's athletic enough to be a lob threat. He can defend wings, which the Lakers desperately need. And he's on a reasonable contract. This isn't some rental player who's going to leave in free agency. This is a guy you can build with, but we're 10 days from the deadline, and I haven't heard the Lakers seriously connected to Kuminga once. That tells me either they're keeping it quiet, unlikely, or they're going to do what they always do, tell us they explored every option, and then stand pat. And if they stand pat while a 23-year-old wing is sitting there available for the taking, that's borderline malpractice. All right, let's talk about DeAndre Ayton because I'm done tiptoeing around this. Ayton is a problem, not just he's having a rough stretch problem, not a he'll figure it out problem, a fundamental structural. I don't know if he can play winning basketball anymore problem. Against Dallas on Saturday, Ayton went 4 for 16 from the field. He looked slow, disengaged, and frankly, he looked like he didn't want to be out there. There's a play in that game where he's supposed to box out Cooper Flag on a missed three, and instead of using his body to seal off his man, he just puts his hands on the defender's back and watches as that same guy grabs the offensive rebound. That's not effort. That's not IQ. That's just bad basketball. There's another play where he gets stuck on the wrong side of a basic pick and roll screen because he's too slow to switch, and the Mavericks get an easy bucket. And then there's the play where he sets a moving screen with his hands instead of his body, gets called for an offensive foul, and wipes away the Lakers' points. These aren't advanced basketball concepts. This is basketball 101 stuff that every center in the NBA should know by year 7. But Ayton keeps making the same mistakes over and over again. And you know what? JJ Redick's response has been benching him in the fourth quarter against the Clippers. Ayton was benched against Dallas. Ayton was benched again. And both times, the Lakers immediately went to their small ball lineup and played better without him. Against Dallas, the small ball lineup scored 34 points in 10 minutes with a plus 17 rating. Meanwhile, the starting lineup with Ayton over the last 2 games is minus 15 and 22 minuti. Those numbers don't lie. The Lakers are better when DeAndre Ayton is not. Now, here's the tricky part. What do you do about it? Ayton is making $16, $6 million this season, and he has a player option for next year at around $6 million. If EO obscene, that's actually great value for a backup center. A guy who can grab offensive rebounds, provide size, and score in spurts for $6 million. That's useful, but if he opts out and expects to get more money elsewhere, I genuinely don't know what team would give him a big contract based on what we've seen this season. He's averaging 6.6 points and 8.2 rebounds. He's getting benched in fourth quarters. Key looks slow. He lacks awareness, and he doesn't defend with any urgency. That's not a starting center on a championship team. That's a bench big at best. And here's what really bothers me about the Ayton situation. The Lakers need a lob threat. They need someone who's athletic, who can finish above the rim, who can protect the paint, and who can switch on to guards on the perimeter. Ayton is none of those things. Jackson Hayes is more of a lob threat than Ayton. Drew Tim, a two-way player who's been averaging 24.3 points in the G-League, has given the Lakers better functional minutes than Ayton has over the last 2 weeks. That's not an indictment of Tim. That's an indictment of Ayton. And if the Lakers are serious about contending this year, they need to either bench Ayton permanently and go with the small ball lineup full time, or they need to find an upgrade at center before the deadline. Because what they're doing right now isn't working. But you know what is working. Rui Hachimura coming off the bench. And can we just acknowledge how wild it is that the Lakers stumbled into this accidentally? Rui came back from his calf injury. JJ Redick decided to bring him off the bench to ease him back in. And suddenly, Rui looks like the player the Lakers thought they were getting when they extended him. Against Dallas, Rui had 17 points, 8 rebounds, 4 3-pointers, and a team-leading plus 21 rating. In the fourth quarter, when the Lakers needed someone to space the floor and hit open threes. Rui hit 3 massive shots that helped seal the win. And here's the thing, Rui isn't playing any differently than he was when he was starting. He's shooting the same shots, he's making the same reads, he's playing the same defense. The only difference is that now he's playing 25 minutes instead of 32. He's going against bench units instead of starters, and he doesn't have to guard LeBron-level wings for 35 minutes a night. That's the key. Rui has always had defensive limitations. He's not quick enough to stay with elite perimeter players, and he's not strong enough to bang with true power forwards in the post. But when you bring him off the bench, limit his minutes, and ask him to just shoot threes and attack closeouts, he's really effective. He's shooting 46% from the field this season and has been one of the Lakers' most consistent three-point threats. And even though he's coming off the bench now, he's still closing games when the Lakers go small. That small ball lineup with LeBron, Luka, Marcus Smart, Jake LaRavia, and Rui has been devastating. So Rui is still getting his minutes, he's still impacting winning, but he's doing it in a role that maximizes his strengths and minimizes his weaknesses. Which brings me to this Detroit Pistons trade proposal that's been floating around. And I want to be very clear about this. Trading Rui Hachimura for Caris LeVert and Javonte Green would be one of the dumbest moves the Lakers could make. I get it. The Lakers need defenders. LeVert is averaging 7 points in 20 minutes and shooting 38% from 3. Green is averaging 7.2 points and is a solid defensive wing who can guard multiple positions. On paper, getting 2 rotation players for one makes sense. But in reality, you're trading a 26-year-old who just found his perfect role for 2 30-somethings who are closer to the end of their careers than the beginning. LeVert has missed 3 straight games with an illness. Green is 32 years old and on a minimum contract. These are not impact players. These are spare parts. And here's the other thing. If the Pistons want Rui, that tells you something about his value. Detroit is 32-11, first in the East, one of the best teams in basketball. Jason Timm specifically named Rui as one of 3 upgrades the Pistons could target at the deadline. So if a team that good thinks Rui would make them better, why would the Lakers trade him for scraps? It makes no sense. If the Lakers are going to trade Rui, it should be as part of a bigger package for a legitimate impact player. Not for 2 aging veterans who might give you 15 decent minutes off the bench if everything goes right. Let me break down exactly why this Pistons trade doesn't work. Because I think some people are getting seduced by the idea of 2 players for one without actually thinking about what those 2 players bring. Caris LeVert is 31 years old. He's making $14.1 million. He's averaging 7.9 points, 1.8 rebounds, and 2.8 assists in just 20 minutes per game. He's shooting 38.2% from 3, which is solid, but he's also been out with an illness for the last 3 games. His on-off rating with the Pistons is minus 9.4, which means the Pistons are almost 10 points per 100 possessions worse when he's on the floor. That's not a guy you trade for. That's a guy the Pistons are trying to get rid of. Javonte Green is 32 years old. He's averaging 7.2 points, 2 set-you rebounds, and shooting 37% from 3 in 19.5 minutes per game. He's a solid defender. I'll give you that. He's averaging 1.5 steals, he can guard multiple positions, and he's the type of hustle player that good teams need off the bench. But again, he's 32 years old on a minimum contract. The Pistons just guaranteed his deal for the rest of the season because he's been useful. But he's not someone you trade a 26-year-old rotation player for. He's someone you pick up in free agency or sign to a veteran minimum deal in the summer. So let's be honest about what this trade really is. The Pistons are trying to buy low on Rui Hachimura by offering the veterans they don't need in exchange for a young power forward who can shoot and would fit perfectly next to Cade Cunningham. And some people in the Lakers media ecosystem are acting like this is a reasonable trade because the Lakers need depth and Green is a good defender. No. Just know, the Lakers finally figured out how to use Rui. He's thriving off the bench. He's shooting 46% from the field and making big shots in big moments. And you want to trade him for 2 guys who combined are averaging 15 points per game and won't even be in the league in 3 years? That's insane. If the Lakers want to add depth, they should be packaging Gabe Vincent $11.5 million expiring, Judd Vanderbilt $10.7 million expiring, and a future pick for an actual impact player. Someone like Jonathan Kuminga, someone like Dorian Finney-Smith, someone who moves the needle. Not to aging veterans who might give you 20 serviceable minutes off the bench and then retire next summer. Now let's talk about the one thing that's actually going to make a difference for this Lakers team. Austin Reaves coming back. JJ Redick said after the Dallas game that Reaves has been doing full contact work in practice and has played in one stay-ready game. The plan is for him to play one more stay-ready game, and then he's back in the lineup, possibly as soon as Wednesday against Cleveland. That's huge. Reaves has been out since late December with a left calf strain, missing 15 straight games. Before the injury, he was averaging 26.6 points, 6.3 assists, and 5.2 rebounds per game, and was arguably playing the best basketball of his career. Getting him back is like making a trade without giving up any assets. But here's what's interesting about the timing. The Lakers have actually been figuring things out without Reaves over the last week. They beat the Raptors, they beat the Nuggets, they came back and beat the Mavericks. They discovered their small ball lineup with LeBron at the 5. They figured out that Rui works perfectly off the bench. They gave Drew Tim some run, and he gave them functional minutes. So when Reaves comes back, it's not like the Lakers are getting bailed out of a losing streak. They're adding an all-star level talent to a team that's already starting to find its identity. That's dangerous. Think about what the Lakers lineup will look like with Reaves back. Your starting 5 is probably Reaves, Luka, Marcus Smart, Jake LaRavia, and DeAndre Ayton for now. Your closing 5 is Reaves, Luka, LeBron, Marcus Smart, and Rui. Your bench has Gabe Vincent, Jard Vanderbilt, Jackson Hayes, Drew Tim, and Max Christie. That's depth. That's versatility. And most importantly, that's 3 legitimate ball handlers in Luka, LeBron, and Reaves, who can all create their own shots and make plays for others. The Lakers haven't had that all season. The one concern I have, and I think this is legitimate, is whether Reaves will be fully healthy or if they're rushing him back. Calf strains are tricky. They can linger. And the last thing the Lakers need is for Reaves to come back at 80%. Regrovate it in the first week and miss another month. But if JJ Redick says he's ready, I trust it. Redick isn't the type of coach who's going to sacrifice a player's long-term health for a couple of regular season wins. And once Reaves is back, this Lakers team is going to look completely different than the one we saw struggling through December. Which brings us to the elephant in the room that we need to address head on. In 10 days, we're going to find out if the Lakers are actually serious about winning a championship this year, or if they're just going to run it back and hope for the best. The trade deadline is February 5th. The Lakers have been linked to everyone from Herb Jones to Trey Murphy 3-2, Michael Porter Jr. to Andrew Wiggins to Jonathan Kuminga. But the prevailing wisdom around the league is that the Lakers are going to stand pat. Preserve their cap space for the summer, untell us that no single move addresses all their problems. And you know what? I'm so tired of hearing that excuse. We've heard it for 5 years now. Every single trade deadline, it's the same song and dance. The Lakers don't have the assets. They don't want to mortgage the future. They're saving their flexibility for a bigger fish in the summer. Meanwhile, LeBron is 41 years old, Luka is 26 and in his absolute prime, and we're wasting championship windows because Rob Pelinka is too paralyzed by the fear of making a trade that doesn't work out perfectly to actually pull the trigger on anything. Look, I understand the logic. The Lakers want to preserve cap space for the summer. They think they might have a shot at Giannis Antetokounmpo if the Bucks blow it up. They don't want to give up future picks for a rental player who might not move the needle. I get all of that. But here's the problem. You can't keep punting championship opportunities to next year. Achesami point, you have to go for it. And this year, with Luka in his prime, with LeBron still playing at an all-star level, with Austin Reaves about to come back, this is a year where you should be going for it. There are moves out there that make sense. Trading for Jonathan Kuminga makes sense. He's 23 years old. He's a two-way wing. He's available, and his value is low right now because of the injury. Packaging Gabe Vincent, Jard Vanderbilt, and a pick for a defensive wing makes sense. Even exploring a smaller move for someone like Dorian Finney-Smith makes sense. These aren't franchise-altering trades that mortgage the future. These are upgrades that could be the difference between a second-round exit and a conference finals run. But if the Lakers stand pat, if they tell us we explored every option and then do nothing, that's a failure. Plain and simple. So tonight against the Bulls, we'll get a glimpse of where this team's head is at. Can they beat a good team on the road without Austin Reaves? Can they defend with urgency for 48 minutes? Can they avoid the classic Lakers trap of playing down to their competition and needing a fourth quarter miracle? We're about to find out. And in 10 days, we'll find out if Rob Pelinka has the courage to actually make a move, or if we're getting another year of maybe next summer. Either way, the clock is ticking. The Lakers are 27-17. They're the 5th seed. They have the pieces to be dangerous. The question is whether they're going to add to those pieces or if they're just going to hope that what they have is enough. Drop your comments below. Should the Lakers trade for Kuminga? Should they make a move at the deadline or wait for summer? And who do you have winning tonight? Let me know, and I'll catch you in the next one.